Okay, ready to get started? Okay. So hey guys, my name is Tasha Penwell, and as you can see, I made it just on time. I'm from Gallup-Plus, Ohio, which is about 2 hours away, in between the rain and accidents and detours, not finding a parking spot, and finding the right room. It's right on time, just in time mentality, right? Okay, so, So my name is Tasha Penwell, and today we're going to be talking about SparkAR. Just kind of a show of hands, by what I can see with the light. As show of hands, who's familiar with SparkAR? I got some maybes. Okay, good. Let's see. So my name is Tasha Penwell, and this is a filter I made with SparkAR. Filters are. Does everybody kind of having a good idea what a filter is? Like, from Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. So that's one particular filter that I made on SparkAR. A little bit about me, just a few things. I'm an AWS educator, Amazon Web Services. A show of hands, there's like, who's familiar with AWS? Okay, AWS is awesome. I love teaching AWS. I'm a subject matter expert in subjects ranging from AWS to web development, and I'm also a content creator working with small businesses in their social media marketing, and sometimes I include filters as part of that marketing. So the objectives that I want everybody to kind of have a good, takeaways today is what exactly is AR, what is SparkAR, how augmented reality AR is used in branding, and then I have screenshots of the steps that you would do to create a sticker filter, background filter, and I said face filter, but face mask is more appropriate than a filter. And the reason I do screenshots is because the last time I pre-recorded and uploaded images or uploaded the video here, the video didn't load. So if you've ever done any kind of presentation when the technology doesn't work, you kind of think ahead, it's like, what can I do to make sure that try to be foolproof. So what I have is screenshots, and I'm going to go over everything, all the specific steps today. And so what is augmented reality? Show of hands, who's familiar with the term augmented reality? Okay. From filters and such on social media, is that pretty much everybody? Okay. So basically what AR is an interactive experience of a real-world environment. Remember Pokemon Go was really big a few years ago. I don't know if it still exists or not. I wasn't into it, Pokemon Go, but Pokemon Go was a really good example of augmented reality. And basically what it does is it uses objects and people in the real world, and it's using an overlay such as with a mobile phone, and it creates a different kind of experience. It can be audio, it can be visual, it can be a variety of different things, but basically it just enhances the experience with the real world environment. So who loves commercials? Who loves advertisements? Nobody. See one? Okay. So whether you're watching a video on YouTube, or you're playing a mobile app game, or you're watching regular television or streaming television, commercials are kind of annoying. And people know when they're being sold to. And if you could do a Google search online, if you do a search for something and you see ad pop up, everybody can tell when there's an ad and when there's like an organic search engine result kind of thing. And I don't know about you, but I bypass the ads. I just don't want to look at them because I know I'm trying to be sold to. And I think that's most people in today's day and age. They know when they're trying to be sold to. They know when they see an advertisement, and they're just sick of it. But with augmented reality, it can create a more engaging advertisement that can improve the attitude towards the advertisements, because it's actually something you get to interact with and play with and just have a little bit more fun. I remember during the Super Bowl last year, there was I can't remember what ad it was, but all the ad was just a QR code. And it didn't say anything else. And I'm like, what's that QR code for? And I was like, I want to know what it's for. So I got my phone out and I scanned it, which is, I'm sure, the purpose of the ad. It just had me have some sort of engagement with it. Because I was just like, it tells me nothing. I just want to know what the QR code is for. So how AR is used in branding. So with smartphone applications, it's a major driver in how media advertises anymore. It helps organizations to create customized advertising, and mobile devices, can take advantage of the opportunity with AR. Technology has changed so fast, and there's so many different things that you can do with the phone in your back pocket that it takes away any kind of barriers where marketers can and businesses can actually showcase what they're doing. So there are 3 AR use cases that I think are probably the most common. And this one is to entertain. There's some sort of entertainment value, whether it's a makeup filter or a funny filter. There's some sort of entertainment value. AR can actually be used to educate. I used to work at a medical school, and they were using augmented reality and virtual reality to help train medical students, in preparation to become doctors. And evaluate. This is a really common use case of augmented reality, especially with makeup and hair color brands. You can actually try the makeup, you can try the lipstick, you can try the hair color before you making that purchase. So this is a really popular way that businesses are using augmented reality. So SparkAR. So SparkAR is an AR development software. It has easy-to-use templates and asset libraries, and it allows developers to create and share augmented reality experience. It has creation tools built for the novices to the more advanced, sophisticated developers. It has a great platform to just get started and be curious and to learn. There's no coding experience necessary to get started, but if you start taking a deeper dive and if you have coding skills or want to develop coding skills, this could be a great platform just to build and develop and be creative. So the way you would get started with SparkAR, there is a download, and let's see how well this is going to work. So there is a download requirement. So it only works with PC or Macs, so that is a requirement. Previously, at my previous job, I used to do computer science workshops with high schools. And one of the things we started exploring was augmented reality, and I always had to ask what kind of computers they had, because if they had a Chromebook or some other computer that didn't support it, we had to make alternative plans. But anyways, we have SparkAR, and it's really a simple download. It's free. You just need the PC or a Mac, and you do need decent internet to get it downloaded. Once it's downloaded, you don't necessarily need internet connection to develop on it. It depends on what you're doing, but you do need decent internet speed to actually get it downloaded, and it is software or a Mac. Let's see. So like I said earlier, I took snippets, I took screenshots because I didn't want to test how demos would work live. So once you actually download SparkAR, this is the dashboard. One of the things that I really like about playing with augmented reality in these kind of platforms, whether you're using SparkAR, which is for Facebook and Instagram, or you're using Lens Studio, which is for Snapchat, or Effect House, which is the new thing for TikTok, the platforms, the dashboards are very similar. So once you figure out one particular platform, the learning curve for the other platforms is not nowhere near as steep, which is nice. But what you see right here, you can see under templates, there is a variety of templates, and it gives you some names, and if you actually hovered over it, then it would give you some ideas on what it could do and which platforms it works for. Because some are Facebook specific, some are Instagram specific, some are ad specific, some are video calling specific. It just depends. And we're going to go over 3 different filters and just talk about how they are made and the things that you can do with them. So demo number 1 is 2D stickers. So these are 2D stickers. These are basically, you just take a PNG file and you upload it, and I'll go ahead and go through that process with you. So this is the console. So again, like I said, the platforms are fairly similar across all the different AR platforms that are out there right now. On the left-hand side, you see objects and assets. And on the right-hand side, you see the inspector panel. And in the middle area, you see the grid. So the objects is going to be dependent upon what kind of template or no template that you select. And if you do choose a template, there is some assets that are automatically uploaded for you to, to use or to replace, and we're going to replace them in here just a second. On the right side is the inspector panel, and what you see on this right side is dependent upon what is clicked on this left side, whether it's objects or assets. But basically what the inspector panel does is shows the properties of whether the objects or the assets that you have clicked on. So to get started, all you need to do is get some PNG files. I prefer PNG files with a transparent background just because it has a transparent background and it, you don't have that white box behind an image. That's kind of annoying. So it's as simple as going to the assets, and there is a little plus symbol down here. I don't know if you can see it right now, but there is a little plus symbol. And you click on that plus symbol, and then you just upload the image. It comes up to you, what image do you want to upload, and you upload it. Just as simple as any other platforms that you've worked with. So what you can maybe hopefully see a little bit here, I have 3 images that I uploaded. One is the Spotify logo, one is the Soundwave logo, and one is a Music Notes logo. So the theme here is music. So if you are sponsoring any kind of, or you're marketing any kind of concert, any kind of venue, something like that, what this will actually enable you to do is to open up the filter and have a sticker play in place, and you can move the sticker and just take a snapshot or a video. So what you would do after that is that you would just simply click on these default logos or the default images right here. You would click on it and then you would click remove. Okay, nothing too extraordinary on that. You upload new images and you remove the ones that you don't want. Okay. So after you remove the images you don't want, I still have the images that I uploaded here, but you can see previously you had this little cat, now you have no cat. You have 3 blank images. And this is where SparkAR is kind of different than the other platforms. But so the way SparkAR is set up, they have materials and textures. So what you need to do whenever you remove the other images, you expand the materials and you select one of the materials with the default, this one is named Design A. I did not edit any kind of names, I just kind of kept that simple. But you can see Design A. And once you click on Design A, you can see the inspector panel has the properties related to Design A. And what you're going to do is you're going to select texture. And what that's going to do is going to capture the textures. It's going to give you the option to choose one texture that of your preference down here from what the uploads. So once you select texture, you can see how I select Spotify. And again, if you look on the assets, you see under textures, there's Spotify. So these images are considered textures, and textures are applied to materials. So I select Spotify, and you can see the Spotify logo appears where it was a blank. And it's simple as you just repeating the process for B and C. So you can do that 3 times with different images and just repeat the process. Again, you select the material, you go over here, select textures, and select whichever one you want. So now I have it on the sound image, on the sound wave image. And if you click on, if you'll notice, like there's stickers of 1, 2, 3. So when I click on 2, it's going to change to the sound wave image. So if somebody is actually playing with this filter, then they can select the sticker that they want that's most appropriate or represent any kind of brand or a feeling or something silly, something funny, something unique, whatever it is. If you are a designer, you can actually create your own design. These images I got from Canva. I love Canva. I just uploaded them from Canva. but you can customize your own images and then just upload them as a PNG file, or JPEG if you prefer. It may support GIF, I can't remember. But you just, select it and you can change, you can click on the numbers, and then that's the part of the engagement activity where you can just change the image and then you can move it around. So now it comes to testing on the device. So on the far left, you can see that there's an emblem for testing on the device. And because this is a template, it comes up with options that are already prefab for the sharing experience. So you can see there's Facebook and Instagram, depending on what template you use and what objects and everything that you're creating. Not everything is going to be available or applicable for all the platforms, but this one is for Facebook and Instagram. And to test it on your actual mobile device, all you gotta do is click on send, like where Instagram says send, and you just click on send, and it will send you a link to your account. Now, I'm more of a Facebook user than I am Instagram, so that's why I usually just go with Facebook. And you can test it. Now, you can test it here as well, but not everything is always going to completely replicate the experience as you do actual testing on your phone. And then you can publish it. So to publish it, you click on that button that says to publish, and then you would specify if it's a new effect or an updated effect or an existing effect, and you would click upload, and it takes you to the SparkAR hub. So this is where you can kind of, especially if you're doing some kind of marketing in the tagging and the names, this is where you want to try to kind of fine tune just so that it's found by users on the specific platforms. Make it easier for them to find, promote whatever event you're having, promote whatever it is that you're trying to promote. I just named this music notes to keep it simple. The file, I'm not replacing the file, just keeping that as is. You can see it's 2D stickers. The file format is an AR export, which is for SparkAR. So I can do specific platforms or all platforms. For this template, it only worked for these specific platforms of Instagram and Facebook, so I just kept it as such. On the far right, you can see what it would look like, nothing yet, but you can see what it will look like as a preview for anybody who's wanting to play with it. You can specify if it's public or a link only, so if it's a private event, this is a way that you can kind of keep things private, but if you want it to be public so anybody can see your effect, this is how you would do it. You can specify the owner, which in this case is myself, and the categories. You can select up to 4 categories. So I selected selfies, fandom, events, and surroundings, and these are prefabbed from a drop-down available by SparkAR. Now the keywords. The keywords, I put music, music notes, and fandom. So this is where if you are trying to promote an event or some sort of activity, this is where you want to try to use keywords that are relevant for that event. Try to get as many keywords as possible. You can use up to 20, so you have a wide gamut of different keywords you can use to promote a specific event. So what I would recommend if you're trying to promote an event and look for keywords, there is platforms out there such as SEMrush, Google keywords. I don't remember that's exactly the name of the platform. You can just search Google keywords. But there's platforms out there that will help you find specific keywords for a specific target. So if it's location-based and you want to put location, like maybe Columbus, Ohio, or Easton. If it's a specific, not necessarily geographically based, but like some kind of event-based, you can use those kind of keywords. And if there's something else and you want to try to get more creative and grab as many keywords and take full advantage of those 20 keywords, you can use resources like I said, SEMrush, Google keywords, and similar, just to find some keywords that are appropriate for what you're doing. And then you publish it. So to publish an AR with SparkAR, they do require a preview of it. So what I do previously when I test it on the device, I do a recording of it, and then I upload it here into SparkAR Hub. You can be a 3 or 4 second video, does not need to be very long. And then you can choose what you want for the thumbnail. So you can choose an image, upload an image, or you can choose you can let it grab a screenshot. And then you would submit. So this is the thing, okay, this one was denied. This is why I didn't give you the option to play with it before like I'm going to in the other two. This one was denied because of that logo right there. So I kept this in here instead of changing it up because sometimes SparkAR can be really picky on things. Most of my experience is building on Lens Studio. I've been building on Lens Studio for a couple of years now, which is for Snapchat. And SparkAR had so many nuances that I was like, it's just annoying. But it's gotten better. It's gotten better. They have fewer nuances, and they did say it could take up to 5 days for a filter to be approved. And Lens Studio was instantaneous. But SparkAR has gotten better. It's within a few hours things are approved or declined. And they give you some input as to why something was declined. This was declined because it said copyright infringement with the Spotify logo. It was actually from Canva, but it's a really good replica of Spotify logo, so I see why they said it was denied. Let's see. So then, then you would submit it, and then it would say you're published. And you can say, like I said, it can take up to 5 days to review. It doesn't take nowhere near that long anymore, which is one of the reasons I've started using SparkAR more. So any questions on that before we go to demo 2? Because this one you can actually preview yourself. I'll give you guys the QR code here in just a second to scan before Facebook or Instagram. Any questions on the sticker one? So if you have your phone, you should be able to just open up the camera app, and for Facebook or Instagram, it'll take you to whichever one you want. And all this is a simple background. And you may recognize the background that I chose. So all it is an image upload. And it should only work for the front. It might work for the rear-facing camera. Yeah, it works for both camera. Just, if you want to be in it, it's got to be in the front-facing. But that's, pretty much that's it. And the way that was built, it was also a template, a background template. And again, similar console, objects, assets, inspector panel. And then it gives you really, in SparkAR, it has gotten better, which is why, like I said, I'm starting to use it more. Because Facebook is kind of later to the game of augmented reality compared to, Snapchat. So, they're improving. And you just click on the thing that says replace me, you click on it, and you hit replace, and you grab an image, and you can see what image I use. I just grabbed a snippet of that image from the Star Trek website, and then I went to the inspector side, the inspector panel, and you can see I edited a little bit because it was too big. It's still kind of a little bit big, but I just want you to see how it can be used. So you can have it, you can change the tile size and the offset. You can change the blend mode. So you'll notice on the left-hand side under the assets, I have material selected. So as I said earlier, the right side panel, the inspector, is dependent upon what is selected under materials, or objects rather, assets or objects. So you can customize this, and again, it's as simple as just taking an image. It could be your company logo. It can be some sort of engaging image. Some of the ones I've done in the past have been just to promote a small business, and it just had their logo in the background. And people like it. In my experience, my most popular filters, and this is more in the Lens Studio Snapchat, has been the ones that have been the most simple. The ones I spent more time on is just like duds. And the simpler ones is like, take off with the hundreds of thousands of views. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But don't underestimate simplicity. And this could be a really great way just to promote a logo, promote some sort of event, or just, put some words on there and upload it as a PNG file. and just let people have it. So one of the reasons I like SparkAR is because you can see how simple it is. Augmented reality, one of the barriers that marketing and brands have not pursued more augmented reality is the technology can be overwhelming, or that people don't have the skill sets, they don't have the coding knowledge, they don't have the resources, insert the blank here. And SparkAR, I showed, it was just basically a simple download, and you can just start doing something with the templates and upload it, and it being on the Facebook and Instagram platforms, it's easy to share. And then you just go through the process that I went through before, a preview and publish, and then, because you guys just tested it, it was actually approved. They didn't get onto me about any kind of copyright violations on that. So you can also, if you don't want to use a template and you start gaining some comfort level, you can actually do something with just a blank project. And again, this one is Facebook or Instagram, if anybody wants to take the camera. And this is going to create a face mask. You can do it for whatever platform you prefer. So because this is a blank, we did not use a template. The objects and the assets are pretty bare, except for whatever the bare minimum is needed to support, the experience. So what I've done is, if you click here if you go under objects, and you'll see a little plus symbol right there, it says add an object. And what I did was do a search for face mesh. And that's the filter that I'm using. That's the tool that I'm using to create this particular filter. So as you may notice, there is no face here, right? So this is where we can see a preview of things. This is where we saw the stickers, which was denied. This is where we saw the background image for the second demo. But for a face mask, we need a face. So you can have the option of using your own face. You can, put on the camera. Let's see. Yes. So on the far left, you see the little camera logo. You can use your own camera if you want to use your own face. But what I really like about this, it has different ethnicities. You want to see what things are going to look like for different people. And there's a variety of ethnicities available for you to kind of see. And this can be really helpful if you're experimenting with something that's, colorful, such as hair color. How will it look on dark hair or light hair? How will makeup look on dark skin tone versus a light skin tone? This will give you a better idea of how something is going to look in the end. But you can select whichever face you like. And I chose this particular face. Now the face mask we already uploaded earlier through the objects, and we've not done any kind of assets applied to the face mask, to the object. So this is what it looks like right now. It has that checkered pattern. It kind of reminds me of if you see a PNG file, it's like this is a PNG file, and it's not actually a PNG file because it's got that checkered pattern in the back. So once you have that face mask selected, so you can see in the objects, the face mask or the face mesh, I'm sorry, is nested under face tracker. Because what this will do, it will track your face. It will track your movements. You go up and down, side to side, it'll track it. So once you have face mesh selected, on the far right, you have the inspector panel. And you have to open up materials, and then you will see the materials, and you will see the materials appears under the asset. And it's that silver, grayish color, there's no design to it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add assets. And all I did was just go to import from computer, and all I did was just upload that same Star Trek photo and put it in there. So making sure materials is selected. And this, making sure something was selected was something that I had a hard time remembering to do when I was wanting to look for something. So if you're trying to find, if you're playing with this and you don't see a property on the far right that you need to change, make sure you have the right thing selected, because that's been, I assume textures was what I wanted to select when it was actually materials. Because I first started learning on Lens Studio, and this is something different compared to what Lens Studio does. But anyways, make sure you have the materials selected, because that's what's actually applied in this onto the face. And then you go to the textures and you click Stir Track, because that's the name of the image. And the face mask has changed. So this looks a little bit different than what the current face mask is, because I made some edits. So, but this is just like the standard. This is it being applied and no changes being made. But you can make some changes to it. So again, under Objects, clicking on Face Mesh, you can customize the face mesh. And one of the things that I think is kind of fun, like if you've tried the filter, you'll notice that the face mask is bigger than your face. So you can actually scale it. Instead of being 1, 1, 1 all the way, you can make it 2 on the XYZ radius, or one of them, all of them, play with it. So I made this 2, 2, 2, and this has been a popular filter as well. And it's one of those things, it's like, I don't know why this is popular, but people like it, people like to play with it, and if it has your logo, you can customize the placement of it. You can, basically, you can just really customize it to meet your needs. So again, you can customize the materials, making sure materials is selected. And the blend mode, you can play with the blend mode. You can change the opacity. You can really customize this to meet what it is that you're looking for. Now, because this is not a template, we're going to pick and choose where we want this, what kind of devices we want this to appear upon. So to do that, we're going to select Test on Device and click Add Experience. And this pop-up box will appear. It's Experiences, and then you will click on Experiences, and then you can choose between sharing experiences, ads, or video calling experiences. So on this particular filter, on this particular objects that I'm using rather, it applies for all of those. If it was not going to work for one of those platforms, it would be ghosted. You won't be able to select it. But this is something that would work for Facebook ads if you want to do any kind of paid advertising, which is another thing. Most of my stuff has done organic. So I've had hundreds of thousands of views on the Snapchat platform. And everything I've done is organic. And that's always really interesting to see what kind of reach you have when it's completely organic by the use of tagging. So you can see the platforms. You can use it for video calling. You can use it for ads and just basic sharing. And then it would be the similar steps as before, and then you would publish it. Okay, so how to learn more. So first of all, anybody have questions about those 3 demos? Because I want to talk about some other opportunities to learn more. Any questions on the demos? Okay, good. So another reason I started exploring more with SparkAR is because of the fact they have certifications. Anybody like to acquire certifications? Just, Okay. Any lifelong learners? I'm a teacher, so if you're in a tech field, if you have an interest in tech, again, I'm sorry, sometimes I go into teacher mode, but just bear with me on that. I encourage my students to be lifelong learners. And so certifications, I have my AWS Solutions Architect certification. I teach AWS Restart. I teach AWS Cloud Foundations. But anyways, so Facebook actually has a certification. It's a blueprint certification for SparkAR. And this is a great platform. I've not gotten it myself. I've been focusing more on AWS. But let's see. I'm really happy with how well the Wi-Fi is working. Okay. So there's really a great curriculum here. So there's SparkAR's courses. You can do a quick start. There's fundamentals. There's pro. You can get certified. And if you're looking for a career change, this could be, or if you're just looking to broaden your own portfolio, this could be something really beneficial to add. There's SparkAR documentation. There's a forum. So there's a lot of great resources if you're wanting to start looking to use AR just for fun, or if you're wanting to start like a side gig and, as a marketer, as a social media marketer, as an AR developer, fill in the blank. This could be a really great platform to just build your skill set. Let's see. Now I'm going to take you into I'm going to try to anyways. I'm going to take you into my Spark Hub dashboard, and just so you can see. And like I said, I'm happy with how well the internet's working today. So here, oh shoot. Now do I remember password? We may not be able to see it. Let's see. Oh, I have caps and locks on, that's why. Give me a second. Okay, so SparkAR is Facebook, in case you haven't seen that yet. All right. So this is the SparkAR Hub. So when you're getting ready to publish, and you saw the snippets earlier, the screenshots that I shared earlier, this is the SparkAR Hub. This is what you go to manage your filters. So what I like about this is I love stats, I love insights, I love what can help me see what's working, what's effective, what's not, what's trending, what's actually popular when I didn't think it would be, and it actually is, all those things. You can see last 7 days, last 28 days, and lifetime. Now, my development on AR has kind of gone down the past few months because I've had other projects come up my way, which is a good problem to have projects come your way, but it's not let me focus on this a whole lot. So this is the lifetime, 77,000 impressions. And if you hover over it, 70 impressions is the number of times your effects were on screen to stories, posts, and reels on Instagram. And that can be largely determined by the tagging. So that's why I was saying whenever you're actually publishing it, be mindful of the tags, use as many tags as appropriate, and just to help get more eyes on it. So it was showed 77,000 times, and it had 27,000 opens, is the number of times people have opened your effect on the camera. Captures is 3.7, the number of times someone took a photo, and shares is 865. So my largest number, if you look on my Snapchat platform, is over 700,000 impressions for one particular filter. It was inspired by the Cincinnati Bengals, because the Bengals, Super Bowl, any Bengals fans? I got one. Okay. Anyways, so you can see the list of effects. All right. So these are my effects. You can see some are not accepted, like the music notes one, that was my first demo, it was not accepted. These are the other two. You can see impressions, opens, captures, and so on and so forth. The other thing that's kind of annoying about SparkAR compared to Lens Studio for Snapchat is things need updated more frequently than they do in Snapchat. So if I'm not on top of it, or whether I just don't want to, or just not doing it, then it can be, then they're no longer visible. It's because I haven't updated them yet. So two of my more popular ones with for Facebook for SparkAR were Bingles. So you can see impressions was 23,000 and 18,000 for these two different ones. Opens was both of them are in the 4,000 range. Captures, one's 1,100, one's at 800. Shared over 200 times. Saved, 142 times and 280 times. So what I found is that anything that's tied into an event, like a national event, it's going to be, it does well. Some other ones, it wasn't on Facebook, it was on Snapchat. I have one that I did for a client, and it was just basically they put funny glasses on when they moved their eyebrows up, and then it took the funny glasses off, and it had over 400,000 views on it. And it was a small local business client, and it was one of the ones where it was like, okay, that's popular, I don't know why. But there is a lot of great things that are coming with SparkAR. They have a lot of great additional documentation and support. They just don't quite have as many features as Snapchat. But this one, I think, is just because Facebook and Instagram, I think, is probably more far-reaching on certain demographics than others. That is why I wanted to focus on this one. So you can see there's a variety of different ones. You can see which ones have been accepted, which ones have not been accepted. It gives you some insights on impressions, opens, and captures, so that can kind of help you figure out. You can do a little bit of A/B testing, which is basically if you have the same filter for two different scenes or in two different. If you have the same characteristics and you published it twice under two different names, you can do some different taggings and seeing what's reaching your audience better. So to go with the insights, again, this was what I was shown earlier. I think it was this. A lot of this was showed up on the home, but it also gives you your audience. So let's do all effects, and let's go ahead and open lifetime. So if you look here, it's pretty equal between male and female. You can see that the age that I'm reaching looks like between 18 to 24 is most of them. And the top languages is English, various Englishes, and then Portuguese and Indonesia. So this is data that Facebook or Instagram captures of anybody who's using a particular filter. So then you can go to the gallery. So you can see a wide gamut of people who are creators on SparkAR. You can connect with them, you can see what they're doing. You can be inspired by their ideas. Sometimes the hardest thing is just getting started with an idea. And that's why templates are a great way to just get started if you're not sure what to do. You can see creators. Competitions, they do have some competitions. They have an active Facebook group. The competitions can be fun. It give you some additional 3D assets and digital assets. It can give you some different aesthetics to play with. But there's been some controversy, just put it out there, there's been some controversy on the competitions and how they're ranked and how they're graded. So you can do it if you're just doing it for fun, but just be mindful there's been some controversy on how things are selected as a winner. But you can see there's a lot of different resources, like there's some prizes here. First prize is $25,000, second is $20,000. And that's something you want to pursue, that could be a good way of doing it. And learn. And again, I'm a teacher, so sometimes I go into teacher mode. But I really like the fact that they have such a great platform for learning. So if you want to explore this, if you want to see the things that you can do to build and to create, I gave 3 really, really simple demos. And you can see that there's a variety of other templates. They have wings, this whole wings, like angel wings, it's a pretty cool filter as well. And that is a template. You can do a lot of fun things with it. And if you want to browse the curriculum a little bit more, you can do that here. They give you assets that you can actually export into Adobe as well, if that's something you want to do to really customize. So there's a lot of things that you can do this way beyond the scope of what I've showed you. Does anybody like to do, is any 3D artists in here? Okay. So you can actually upload 3D images in here just to create a more fun experience with your 3D art. Yeah. Let's see, I think this is my last page here. Other platforms that are available if you like playing with AR that I would recommend. Lens Studio is great. Again, that's where I first started playing with it, and I really like their platform. They have a lot more templates. Both have great documentation resources, but just Lens Studio has been doing the filters longer than Facebook. So they have a more robust platform. But they just don't have the certification. The only certification they have is related to marketing, not necessarily with building. So again, that's why I kind of focus on SparkAR, because they have Blueprint. Effect House for TikTok. So Effect House is still in beta. They're only allowing certain people to be part of that. I got the email a few days ago saying that I was able to get into that beta version of Effect House. So I don't have a whole lot of details on that, but TikTok has their own platform as well. It's just still in beta version, so I'm not sure when it's actually going to be released to the public. And right now, it's only available for Mac. It doesn't work on PCs. So Sumerian. So I mentioned AWS a few times. So is anybody familiar with Sumerian? I saw some hands on AWS. Anybody familiar with Sumerian? I saw a little bit. Okay. So Sumerian is AWS's platform to build AR, VR, and 3D experiences. And this is completely web-based. So, again, I work with different students who have different types of technology available to them, PC and Macs and Chromebooks. So because AWS, Amazon, is completely web-based, if they want to actually explore AR development or VR development or 3D development, Sumerian could be a really great platform for them because it is not specific on any kind of downloads or anything of that nature. Now, it does have Android or iOS here because you can build it, but there are some dependencies depending on what you want to use. If, on the Android or iOS, you would just have to read the documentation on that to see what you want. Let's see, and I think that's pretty much it. Any questions? All right. I saw some of you guys taking pictures of this. You guys have any questions on Lens Studio that I can maybe answer for you?
So SparkAR is just meta platforms?
Say that again.
SparkAR is just meta platforms? You might want to repeat the question for those that are streaming.
Okay, SparkAR is a platform for Facebook and Instagram and Oculus. Lens Studio is for Snapchat. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody else? I'm hearing impaired, just as an FYI.
So I saw a 3D grid in SparkAR. Would you be able to import assets from something like WebVR to create 3D environments in SparkAR?
If I heard it right, you were asking about SparkAR and what kind of environment?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know Sumerian supports WebAR. SparkAR is just pretty much, you got to have the app. You got to have the Facebook or Instagram app. Does that answer that question?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sumerian does support WebAR, though. I don't know that much about Effect House, like I said. Yes?
What is the support for video 3D objects?
I'm sorry?
What is the support for video and 3D objects?
For Sumerian?
For any of them.
Oh, for any of them? The 3D objects I know has really good support for Lens Studio, and you can upload it and it's just basically you would download the FBX file. I believe that's a 3D object, and then you would you just upload it just like I did with the PNG files. Yeah.
Is there a cost associated with that at all when using SparkAR?
All this is free. Sorry. All this is free. SparkAR is free, Lens Studio is free, Effect House free. It's in beta version, so not everybody can do it. Amazon Sumerian, to play with Sumerian, you have to have an AWS account, which means you have to have a credit card. But, you know, okay, Sumerian, it can be free depending on how deep you get into it. There's a free tier, and then there's more. But for Lens Studio and SparkAR, it's completely free. Somebody else? Again, I'm hearing impaired, so. Yes?
Have you played with Sumerian at all to see if it integrates with the other applications?
I played with Sumerian, and I created some sort of, some environments for like 3D, and just had like flying particles in a room. Creating a room was really fun. And you can have, oh shoot, it's been a while. You can have it like with an interaction, like you click on something and it would play a video. So you can create like a living room kind of scenario, and you can actually embed YouTube in it. Yeah, put embedded a YouTube video in there and just click play. It's actually a lot of fun. I just, haven't had a whole lot of focus of it. Haven't really played with it since Halloween.
And how does Sumerian export? Is that like a separate application on your phone?
Yeah, so you can actually, if you're going to create a Sumerian application, there's two ways you can do it. One is on Amplify. I've not done it that way, so I can't really speak to that. The way I've done it is that you would just export a URL link, and it's supported on AWS, and you just share the link, whoever has access to the link. And it works pretty well on mobile or on bigger screens. But Amplify is supposed to support it, which is AWS's, it's service for mobile and web app development. So that's something I would like to play with. I just haven't got to it yet.
Does this work with Adobe's AR platform, Adobe Aero?
I'm sorry?
Does this work with Adobe's AR platform, Adobe Aero?
The AR platform?
Adobe?
Oh.
Augmented reality platform.
I'm not familiar with it, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you can edit some stuff in Adobe, but I'm not familiar with Adobe's AR platform, period. Any other questions? Oh, okay.
Question about interactivity. Have you any experience with interactive versions of this, whether it's like the eyebrow raises,
Mm-hmm.
or is that all code, or is that something that has templates?
Yeah, you can do things with interactivity, like it'll read face events and some other like tapping and other types of engagement. I think Lens Studio probably has more options for Snapchat than what SparkAR does, but you can do it. Any other questions? You guys have been a great audience, and like just in time mentalities when I got here and supportive on that, so thank you. Thank you. If you guys have any other questions, I'll stay around for a few minutes, and then, but that's pretty much it. Thank you guys.